Once upon a time in a community was born twin, one evil and the other good. On a stormy night in a lively Nigerian village, Mama Nkechi clutched her newborn daughters, Amara and Chika, wrapped in vibrant cloth. The atmosphere was filled with the soothing sound of rain and the distant chant of villagers celebrating their arrival. The elder women sang traditional songs, blessing the twins with hopes of a bright future. Their parents were very happy because it was joy at last, their father said. Green fields. The villagers admired their similarity, both had sparkling brown eyes and matching dimples that charmed everyone. Mama Nkechi often watched them with joy, saying, "Two hearts, one soul, my children," she said. "I know you both will grow up and make I and your father proud. Ha ha ha, I can't wait to see you both grow into a beautiful woman and ripe for man." Chika's first prank. At age 6, Chika played her first prank by tying a rope across the path, sending a group of giggling villagers tumbling down. Amara, horrified, rushed to help, but Chika only laughed, unrepentant. The villagers shook their heads, amused and exasperated, while Amara scolded her sister. "You go make dem vex one day. You know dey hear word," she said. "Mind your business, sister, don't raise your voice at me, you are not my mother or father, okay? I have said my own oh. The birth of good and evil. As the twins reached their teenage years, their differences sharpened. Amara joined a local charity group, dedicating her time to assist the elderly in the village. Chika immersed herself in mischief, often persuading Amara to join her reckless adventures. "We supposed to live life to the fullest," Chika would exclaim, while Amara rolled her eyes. "Please don't bring me to your lifestyle. Since you have chosen to live this way, I don't have anything to tell you." The parents' worry. Mama Nkechi and Papa Chijioke grew increasingly worried about their daughters. The house echoed with high blood pressure conversations about Chika's chaos. "This girl go kill us with trouble," Mama Nkechi lamented, especially after a village meeting to address Chika's latest prank left tensions high. "I don't know why the gods have chosen to punish me with such a child," says her mother. "I am confused and she is not willing to change," says her father. I'm tired," says her mom. Chika's bold scheme. On one fateful afternoon, Chika was planning a scheme to rob the village chief's prized collection of gold jewelry. "Amara, come help me wealth," she gleefully suggested in their bedroom, her eyes twinkling with the idea. Amara hesitated. "No be dat kind life we suppose live," but her pleading fell on deaf ears. "Everything Mama and Papa has been saying all this years fell to deaf ears, Chika. You are doing too much honestly," Amara told Chika. "Na you sabi oo," says Chika. Preparations for chaos. The sisters prepared for the night's chaos, gathering tools and practicing their plan under the cover of a starry sky. As darkness set in, the village was asleep, unaware of the storm brewing in the form of mischievous twins. They hurriedly went outside. "Chika, are you sure about this?" "I don't have a good feelings about this movement," says Amara. "Relax, you fear too much, everything is under control," says Chika. "I just hope we don't get caught." The bold robbery. They stealthily approached the chief's hut, adrenaline pumping through their veins. Chika's heart raced as she whispered, "We don't carry this plan out." They snuck inside, with Chika eagerly reaching for the shining trophies. But just as she secured her prize, the alarm bells rang, flooding the dark with panic. "What is going on?" says one of the robbers. "No panic guys, see calm," says Chika. They kept parking everything they wanted with fears in their eyes, but Chika is never scared. The Great Escape. A commotion erupted in the village, and Chika pushed Amara out of the way, shouting, "Na she bd one-way plan am." Guards rushed in, and before Amara could even protest, she was grabbed and taken by the authorities. "Chika, why you go do this?" she screamed, but her sister just watched in fear. "Chika, you know I am innocent, why frame me?" Amara kept begging and crying. "I am innocent, please don't harm me, you gods of our land, save me, for I am innocent," says Amara. The accusation. In the village square, an assembly had gathered. Chika stood back, guilt gnawing at her insides as villagers pointed fingers at her sister. "This girl don't disgrace us," a villager shouted, while Amara looked confused and hurt, trying to defend herself against the growing accusations. "I am innocent, please believe me, I am innocent, don't harm me. Since this twin were born they have been causing trouble in this village." Today marks their end days, one of the villagers said. Villagers sentenced Amara to death by being buried alive, thinking she deserved punishment for her supposed crime. As they took her to a deep pit outside the village, she clutched her heart, despair swallowing her as she pleaded for justice. "I no do anything wrong," she cried, tears streaming down her face. "Don't kill me, please, gods of our land. Do not allow this calamity befall me, for you know I am innocent. You must be buried alive," shouted the villagers. "Yes, she must die, no excuses." Parents' grief. Back at their modest home, Mama Nkechi and Papa Chijioke erupted in despair. "How can we survive this?" Papa Chijioke gasped, clutching his chest in agony, the news of Amara's fate crushing his spirit. Mama Nkechi, filled with sorrow, wept uncontrollably. Their health deteriorated under the weight of grief. "How can I watch my precious child been buried alive, and I was so helpless," says her father. The village's misfortune. The villagers soon faced a wave of misfortune. Crops withered, the stream fed by a nearby river dried up, and illness began to spread. The villagers gathered in the square to discuss the calamities. "This must be a curse. We must find who brought this upon us," they exclaimed in panic. "And that person won't go unpunished," one of the villagers said. "Be calm, my people, I will consult the village chief priest. He alone has the answer to that which we seek," says the king. The chief's decision. The king, noticing his village was suffering, called for the chief priest's council. Dressed in traditional attire, he ordered the villagers to gather for an urgent meeting. "We must seek guidance from the spirits," he declared, seeking understanding of what had caused the village's sorrow. The chief priest's revelation. The village chief priest, adorned in ceremonial robes, began performing rituals amidst the gathering. His solemn chants echoed through the air as he invoked the spirits to reveal the source of the calamities. "The truth will surely surface tonight," the chief priest emphasized, a serious look on his face. Chika's guilt and regret. Chika, feeling the weight of her actions, wandered into the dark forest. "I have killed my sister with my actions," she lamented amidst tears, realizing that her negligence had brought pain and suffering not just to her sister, but the entire village. The shadows of the trees seemed to loom over her, reflecting her inner turmoil. The moment of truth. As the villagers anxiously awaited the priest's revelation, Chika made her way back to the pit where Amara was buried. She fell to her knees, crying out in despair. "I will confess. I will right my wrongs," she shouted into the night, the desperation of her guilt echoing through the quiet village. The village search. The villagers, alerted by Chika's cries, converged on the scene, confused and anxious. They recognized her tears and anguish, and it dawned on them that something deeper was happening. "We must let her speak," an elder commanded, realizing that Chika held the key to their unanswered questions. The confession. In the village square, Chika stood trembling, facing the crowd that once adored her. "I am guilty. I planned the robbery. I framed my own sister," she admitted with a choked voice. Gasps filled the air, shock enveloping the crowd as disbelief washed over them. The king's response. Hearing Chika's confession, the king declared, "We must seek justice for Amara. Her memory must not be tarnished by deception." The villagers nodded, filled with a mixture of anger and sadness. While some shouted for Chika to be punished for her treachery, the king said Chika will go on exile for 5 years. Mourning Amara. The villagers held a solemn funeral for Amara at the site where she was buried. Dressed in traditional mourning attire, they laid flowers and fruits as offerings, remembering her kindness and unwavering spirit. Tears flowed freely as stories of her good deeds echoed among the villagers. Healing the village. In the aftermath of the loss, the village began to heal. Chika, deeply remorseful, sought forgiveness from every villager, admitting her wrongs and committing to change. "I will spend my life helping others in Amara's memory. Once I come back from exile," she pledged, a look of determination in her eyes. 5 years later, a new beginning. The villagers grew to forgive Chika, understanding the weight of her actions and recognizing her genuine remorse. Together, they rebuilt the community, planting new crops and restoring the dried stream to life, symbolizing renewal and hope. Chika's redemption. Chika dedicated herself fully to the village, establishing programs for local youth to learn about values of kindness, community support, and the consequences of wrongdoing. We go fit change the world with love. She encouraged, rallying the youth to put their energies into positive endeavors. The legacy of Amara. Years later, the villagers gathered to celebrate the annual harvest festival, honoring both Amara's memory and the community's resilience. Chika stood amid the laughter and joy, a symbol of transformation and redemption, sharing stories about her sister's legacy, reminding everyone, love go always triumph over evil. The village thrived once more, a testament to the strength of forgiveness and unity, with Amara's spirit shining bright in everyone's hearts.